Hi, my name is Shannon Tart. I played volleyball and ran track at South for 4 years. I have learned through personal experience that it's not always smart to play through an injury. Doing so not only affects you, but it can also affect your team and can have lasting effects that will follow you throughout your life. My goal in creating this video is to teach you, young athletes, how to possibly prevent these injuries and to play safe and to play smart and to tell someone if you're injured. Remember, it's better to miss a game than to end your career. When in doubt, sit it out.
First bad injury that I had was my senior year in high school. I was playing basketball and I was having a great season. I mean, it was like a record-setting season. In the second quarter, I got submarined. And so I played the whole second quarter, and to this day I cannot remember that quarter. And at the time I had 2 points, so at halftime I began to wake up, and I asked somebody, one of my team, I said, how many points do I have? They said 14. I said, 14? And so I was a little woozy to start with. Then in the third quarter, I sprained my ankle. And it was a pretty bad ankle sprain. And back then, they didn't know what they know now. Not once was ice ever applied. They treated it with hot analgesic balm, wrapped it up in an ace bandage in hot whirlpool. And to this day, that ankle bothers me. It gets stiff. And I think it's because it wasn't treated right.
When in doubt, spit it out.
Patrick Dunnigan. I played football here at South Johnston, and I went to Catawba College and played for 1 year. I suffered a concussion here in the 2009 football season at South. I was pulled from the game for a couple series, and looking back, I should not have went back into the game because concussions are too serious.
The most common sign and symptom of concussion is headache, but nauseousness, dizziness, loss of memory, loss of consciousness, ringing in the ears. We could go on for a while. A lot of them complain of visual problems. The next day, sometimes you see inability to focus, inability to concentrate, and so forth. This is actually something that's very common in younger kids. Is when they go to school the next day, they start to have problems concentrating.
This is all fog. I could not control my emotions. We were winning the game, and it was for the conference championship, and I should not have been crying, but I couldn't stop the tears. And then after the game, I got really nauseous, and I collapsed right after our midfield huddle. I was transported to Wake Med by ambulance, and it was ruled that I had a grade 2 concussion. Grade 2 is the intermediate level, and the only thing that kept it a grade 2, I had no swelling or bleeding on the brain.
I think the Gefeller-Waller Act is one of the best pieces of legislation that has been passed in North Carolina this year. I've actually got an opportunity to work and get to know the family of Matthew Gefeller through some colleagues of mine at UNC Chapel Hill, and basically it's outlined educational procedures to help aware coaches, athletes, players, parents, friends of what are the symptoms of concussion. It has provided, the same way the NHL has provided us with a way of evaluating and returning concussions to play. It's outlined that here for the state of North Carolina, and the Gefellers are so dedicated to spreading this cause and making concussions aware around this state and nationally. They're doing an absolutely spectacular job of keeping young athletes safe.
If in doubt, sit it out.
I'm Dan Atkins. I played football at South Johnson for 4 years, and now I play football at UNC Pembroke. Junior year in high school, we were doing our regular workouts in the weight room, and during a session of parallel squat, I tore my meniscus.
Football is the one sport in which people will tell you to suck it up.
After I tore it, my coach sent me to the athletic trainer where she observed my knee, and she came to the conclusion that my meniscus was torn. So from then on out, for the next week or so, I stayed off my leg, just did upper body stuff. Then eventually I got back into it whenever the pain went away, and I continued to play until my surgery in February, which was 2 months from when I tore it. And my coach, he pushed me to play a little bit, and eventually I tore it again shortly before surgery, and we could tell on the pictures that my knee was significantly much more torn than when they had done the MRI. So I shouldn't have been running around on it, playing football and stuff.
I'll tell you, I've got a lot of nagging injuries. I'm 63 years old now, Shannon, and I love to exercise. I used to run 9 miles a day, and I wish that I hadn't run 9 miles a day because it took its toll on my leg. I'm a big believer in physical therapy. As a matter of fact, I've gone to the same physical therapist for 10 years. She can't get rid of me. She says, if you don't quit complaining, I'm going to cut you off. I said, no, you can't. I'll quit complaining.
Don't ruin your career. If in doubt, sit it out.
We use a variety of different treatments. I think the most important thing we do for the athletes is we provide an optimal condition for healing to occur. And that's through protecting the area, making sure that they don't make it worse by walking or moving their arm in whatever motion, whatever ligament, muscle strain that we're trying to protect. And then we allow the tissue to heal itself, because that's actually the best way to get that optimal healing.
But Sandy Koufax was one of the first people to use ice. He would, when he went out to pitch, he would like heat his elbow up with analgesic balm. They don't even make that stuff anymore. That's what was put on my ankle when I sprained it. And one time a teammate just put on his jersey just for fun. He said, "Oh my God," because it was so hot. But that's how he went out to pitch, and then afterwards he would stick his elbow into this big tub of ice for like an hour to an hour and a half sometimes. And he was one of the first people to kind of use ice as a healing mechanism.
When in doubt, sit it out.
My name is Amanda Miller. I played 4 years of volleyball, basketball, and softball in high school, and I was blessed to be able to continue my softball career at Campbell University, where I received a 4-year scholarship. The message I'm trying to get across is no matter what your competitiveness is telling you, always put precautions and necessary treatment before and get back to a speedy recovery.
I'm Eddie Price, and I'm the principal here at South Johnson High School. I want to talk to you just a moment about athletics. We at South Johnson urge students to participate in athletics. One, we think that teaches teamwork, builds character. Two, it looks great on a transcript. If you're college bound, you're more well-rounded. Three, it's really the game of life. Athletics, it doesn't always go your way, neither does life, and I think that's something great for all students to learn. If you do play sports, make sure that you listen to your body, and if you feel that you're injured, tell someone. Two, if you get some advice from an expert and they talk to you about rehabilitation, follow the advice.
When in doubt, sit it out.
If I could do it over again, I would have sat out the game. I've learned a lot through concussions with Catawba Athletics, and they take them very serious now, and one more hit, who knows what could have happened to me. So I recommend, if you feel anything, be truthful and sit out the next game.
If you feel a twinge, tell somebody and let it be treated. Just don't. Shavlik Randolph, who he is. He played basketball at Duke. He was a great player at Broughton High School. He hurt himself his senior year at Broughton High School, and he didn't tell anybody because he was one of the highly recruited players in the country. He tried to treat himself like he would put like half a tennis ball in his shoe and made his own orthotic. And eventually he developed hip problems. And he got to Duke and he had all kinds of injury problems every year he was there, and he never developed into the player he could have been. Whereas in high school, if he'd had, hadn't kept it to himself, things might have been different.
The message I'm trying to get across is if you ever experience an injury of any sort, no matter how great or small it is, you need to go get it checked out, talk to an athletic trainer, and do everything that they tell you to do that you can have a speedy recovery.
I'm old school. I think people should play football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the spring and summer, And so many people focus on one sport, like the soccer, for instance, year-round soccer, or year-round basketball, and they don't have any different kind of muscle activity, and I think that's a bad thing. I think people need to take breaks, but always know your body, know how you're feeling, and if you're going to run track this spring, you prepare for that season. You get yourself in the best shape you can. You make sure your upper body's ready, your lower body's ready, and your core is ready, and you'll have a great season.